in para, because obviously sometimes we're in positions where, especially if we've lost balance or it's just maybe a little bit out of your reach, where you've got to adapt and improvise. And in the midst of that, you're also trying to make sure you're not losing the point.
Yeah, of course.
So like it kind of breeds that creativity. And obviously if you spend time with other athletes working in a similar way, I feel like that culture kind of spreads a little bit. So yeah, it's cool to see that coming into the game more and more.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Serving Up Trouble. This is the podcast about everything women's table tennis with me, Chloe Island. Is everyone getting excited for the World Team Championships? I'm getting excited for the World Team Championships. We've only got 1 week to go before matches kick off, and I think you can just feel the excitement bubbling in the air amongst table tennis fans. This is an event that has been, building for some time, and I'm just so excited to actually get into the venue. I'm going to be umpiring at the event. I'm super excited. It's going to be amazing. But before that, I've got another fantastic interview for you guys. And it's so good that we're just going to get straight to it. So my guest this week is the brilliant Megan Shackleton. Megan made her Team GB debut in 2015 and right off the bat has been bringing back medals. In 2021, she achieved a lifelong dream of becoming a Paralympic medalist, taking bronze in Tokyo with teammate Sue Bailey. Megan also narrowly missed out on a medal in Paris 2024 and is now working towards LA 2028. We get into some of the really interesting nuances of wheelchair table tennis and how Megan prepares for her matches, what's going through her head, how she brings her personality to the table, and also what it took for her to be able to do that, the process that she had to do and go through, and how she was helped by coaches in order to bring that authenticity and that personality onto the table. And I think, you'll agree with me, there's just no stopping her now. Megan is such a force of a personality. It was an absolute pleasure to chat with her, and I really hope you enjoy this chat. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited. I was saying to you before, I've not done a podcast for a while since my friend Martin's, and I feel like it's just a cool experience to try something new, have a chat about table tennis and maybe some other life things as well.
Absolutely. Well, we're very thankful to have you on. I want to start kind of right at the beginning because table tennis, not your first sport.
No, definitely not. I've grown up actually swimming and I played a lot of racket sports like tennis, I always enjoyed badminton, but I kind of always thought that my dream was to be an Olympic swimmer. So that was what I was gearing towards. I'd sit on the floor at my grandma and granddad's and I'd watch Wimbledon. And I'd see all the top dogs winning their matches on a big stage, and I'd think I feel like this is me. I want to do this. So that's kind of how I set my sights on the Olympics. And then when I was 9 years old, I had an accident, and that kind of shifted then to the Paralympics. I remember a doctor saying to me well, you can still achieve your dreams, but there's actually the Paralympics. Still carried on swimming. And then eventually I got invited to a trial Paralympic sports day. It's called Playground to Podium. Got to try out loads of cool Paralympic sports. And yeah, I remember just as soon as I picked up a bat, I remember a few of the coaches looking and maybe there's something. yeah.
So that's quite cool. So it's like a full sports day where you got to trial lots of different things.
So you could try wheelchair basketball, wheelchair rugby, table tennis, a few other things, athletics. Mm-hmm. And I feel like everyone's played table tennis on holiday, right, with their family, and people assume sometimes it's a holiday sport as well.
Yeah. Centre parks,
and I don't think I really had an idea of what table tennis could be for me. I just knew that I enjoyed it, and I got stuck in pretty quick, and then I guess the rest is history. It kind of just snowballed.
Amazing. So when somebody first kind of saw you and oh, she's got something here, what was the next step from that? Where did you get taken next in terms of going from somebody seeing you at a sports day to actually maybe coming to a club or playing properly?
Yeah, I actually got invited to attend a club in Sheffield, Albert Table Tennis Club, and I worked with a guy called Sean Alvey for quite a while, and he actually started his own disability group, which was great. So I was practicing there for quite a while, and obviously with it being in Sheffield, there was quite good links to the EIS and the para program at the time. And I guess they'd heard that like a young girl had picked up the sport. They'd heard like some promising things, so they came and had a look. And then quite quickly then I was kind of under their wing for a little bit of guidance until I was ready to turn up to some development stuff. So yeah.
And how old were you at this time?
I think I must have been maybe about like 12 or 13.
Okay, so still pretty young.
It was just before London 2012, which I feel like couldn't have grabbed me at a better time.
Yeah, did you get swept up in the sports fever? Yeah.
Because I've always wanted to go to an Olympic or then change to a Paralympic Games.
Yeah.
So then watching the likes of home games as well, like Will, Ross, Aaron, Paul Davis, so many of the like Great Britain squad that went on to medal there. Yeah. And it was like an incredible games. And I remember watching it and I was like, okay.
I can see myself.
Yeah.
You're getting the daydreams.
Yeah. And then from then on, I think it just really like, I set my sights on that. And I always like say I have quite a good like intuition. And I kind of just felt like, I think this is actually my path. Like, and then actually quite quickly after that, I started really committing to the table tennis, and the swimming kind of took a little shell.
Wayside a little bit. Yeah. Do you still swim occasionally for fun?
Occasionally for fun, but I also think, and I don't know if a lot of like ex-swimmers would say this, like when you've been going up and down looking at a line for years and years and years, it actually, like swimming for fun takes a little bit to come back.
Right.
I think now I could probably swim for fun and just relax, but I used to get in the pool and be like, like, what do I do?
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it's like you feel like you need an aim or something to be like, I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, you were still quite young at that time. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what was your kind of relationship to being in a chair at that time? Like after the accident and things, where was your head as a young person having to switch from Olympic ambitions to Paralympic ambitions?
I think looking back, I dealt with it really well, but I think a lot of that comes from probably my family were very supportive, and they kind of like, okay, well, let's move on. Like, how do we make this work? And obviously, like, I'd had those conversations with the doctors about like the Paralympics, so I felt I'd not had my dreams completely shattered. Yeah, it was just more that I was going to adapt to life in a wheelchair and try Paralympic sports as well. I kind of just wanted to go back to school. Like, I'd been in the hospital for 6 months, like the only child.
Wow, okay,
I was like bored.
Yeah.
And I was ready to go back to school and be with my friends.
Yeah.
So I think those were like driving forces that like motivated me with my rehab and just to get better as quick as I could. And then as soon as you're like back into normal life, back at school, I feel like you just adapt and find a way. Or at least like everyone was very supportive of me, and I felt like it was relatively easy for me in that respect.
Yeah. So it's like wheelchair table tennis, when you kind of watch it, there are some differences, I think, to like how we play, standing table tennis in terms of like just the trajectory of the ball, how far away from the table you're able to be.
Yeah.
I mean, when we've had Fliss and Grace on, we've talked a little bit about the classification system.
Yeah.
We haven't had anybody from wheelchair table tennis on. So would you be able to give us a little bit of an insight into what the wheelchair classes are? What class do you fall into? How does that kind of process work?
So wheelchair classes, they run from class 1 to 5, 1 being the most physically impaired. A lot of people with spinal injuries with 4 limbs affected and no core, so they'll strap the bat and they'll really struggle with balance. That's class 1. Ranging up to class 4 and 5, I'm a class 4, but we've currently actually been combined categories. So I do compete against people a little bit more physically able than me at the minute, but generally most people in those classes will have full function in both of their upper arms, maybe a little bit of impacted core, and for class 5s, some of them will be able to weight bear, maybe stand and have a bit better core. So those are the wheelchair classes. In between that, you kind of have a hybrid in between, naturally. That's kind of it, really.
So the kind of merging of categories, is that mainly just because of numbers?
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe a little bit numbers. I also think there was an argument that it's quite difficult, the bridge between what is a really high class 4 and a class 5. And that's always in Paralympic sport difficult. You can have a good disability, like which
it
sounds like a strange thing to say,
but
that's quite like maybe a common conversation that you might have in Paralympic sport, whether someone's got a good disability or a difficult disability for the class. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be a permanent thing, and I kind of like to see it in the sense of like I want to beat everyone anyway, so I'm going to find a way. Sometimes I play in competitions and I might, especially in this country, I might play with some of the boys. Like there's always a little bit of something, but like my goal is to just be the best table tennis player I can be. And I feel like if I improve my skill set, then that doesn't have to be so much of a barrier.
So when you kind of started, especially in the like pathway program, what were the initial things that you were starting like working on? What was the foundation of trying to get a good wheelchair game together?
I think a lot of it, especially when you start out, is learning how to like use your chair control when you're playing, because obviously like my right arm is my playing arm and my left arm I use to control my chair, so movements in and out, and especially like when you're learning to play short balls in a chair. You got to move in, bit of stability, come back out. But that feels quite alien in the beginning, especially if you've transitioned from being able-bodied before. Because in my head, I'm thinking legs. But
Okay, of course. So it's like a bit of
a
a mental gymnastics going on there as well.
So like learning that side of things. And also just like general momentum. Obviously, like when you move your body, your chair is light and it will move with you. So just trying to like get to grips with that, as well as learning quite a complex sport. So there's quite a lot going on in the beginning. I
was talking about those like short balls because I mean one of the players that you know I see a lot of them from is Jack Hunter Spivey. And it's like and every time he does them I'm just like that feels so mean. Well, but also skilled as well. Because it's like, you know, I couldn't do that. Like the kind of like the time, the touch to be able to do it and have it almost bounce back over the net. But I mean, you talk about those kinds of shots because it's not just him that does it. I've seen lots of wheelchair players kind of doing this really high. I'll try and put a clip of what somebody doing them on. There's a French woman that I saw that did one as well, and it kind of almost it bounces really high and then comes back over the net out of reach.
And Jack, I feel like it's really common in the Class 1 game. They play a lot of touch playing straight up, and that's kind of what their game's built around. But Jack kind of brought it into the Class 5 game a little bit. And he does it to me a lot in training. But it's kind of got to the point now where, like, I'm not going to lie, and I think Jack would say this himself, he kind of looks at me when I'm doing it now and he's like, why have I introduced that to the game? So, like, we've got a bit of rivalry with that going on. I look at him and I went, well, it was you.
It was your fault. Do you implement it into your game as well?
It's definitely worked its way into my game a little bit more now. And I think it's definitely something that's maybe coming a bit more in the future, especially I think like in my international matches. But just building it to feel natural into my match play as well. Because I think when you're relaxed in training, it's quite a different vibe to when you're in an international tournament. And maybe that's not been your way before, but you're trying to bring something in and feel confident in doing it as well.
So, like, your first big international tournament, like I said in the intro, was the Europeans. In 2015, was it?
Well, so that was my first major competition.
Right.
In Denmark.
Right.
And I was really excited. Didn't really have, like, much idea what to expect because obviously I'd not been to a major championships before. But it was so cool because not only did me and Sue do pretty well, we got a bronze medal in the team event, but I got to watch quite a few of my teammates take medals in singles as well, and play in some European finals, which was just like unreal for like a younger kid coming through and wanting to be in that position one day.
Yeah, it's quite nice to have that inspiration around you as well, of like the high quality players, like, and also feeling part of a team as well. Like I've noticed like something, especially with the para lot, is that you are all like supporting each other. Like it's like you're genuinely all fans of each other, which is lovely.
Well, we spend like day in, day out with someone. You've seen them from the beginning of the story where, you know, they've got a bit of promise, but there's not a lot like stringing together very well. And then you can see them, for example, like our Europeans just gone. We have a boy in our team called Theo Bishop. You might have seen him around. And seeing him win his first major medal, after seeing him lose 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and then break through, like, when we all spend day in, day out with each other, like, it's really special. Like, I feel like everyone's medals sometimes feel part of your own journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lovely sentiment, I think.
So
So, like, how are you on the table? Like, what is your, like, when you, like, come into a match, are you, like, quite a serious person? Do you do, like, much prep beforehand? Do you, like, plan? Or are you, like, you just want to get on there, feel it out? Like, what kind of player are you?
Yeah, I think off table, I would say, like, pretty relaxed, chatty, sociable. In the hall, I feel like I'm quite, like, meticulous about what I want to do. So, like, I'll do quite a lot of prep going into it. I'll do my video analysis. Obviously, I'll warm up for my match. I'll do some TheraBands for that, and then some specific exercises. And I have quite a strong plan of what I want to go into the match and it be looking like.
Right.
Within that, which will sound quite contradictory, like, I think one of my biggest strengths is, like, being creative. So, like, I do like to build my feeling up, like, pre-match, so that I'm feeling confident with that, so that I can adapt as well, and it's not too rigid. So, yeah, that's kind of a brief outline of what I would say, like, my game looks like and my preparation.
It's, like, it's interesting with the creativity. I think that is, like, becoming more and more part of the game, you know, is especially in Europe. I think, like, that kind of using creativity and using creative shots and spins to kind of disrupt your opponent, I think is definitely becoming more of a thing.
Yeah. I guess you find that as well, like, sorry to interrupt, in para, because obviously sometimes we're in positions where, especially if we've lost balance or it's just maybe a little bit out of your reach, where you've got to adapt and improvise. And in the midst of that, you're also trying to make sure you're not losing the point. Yeah, of course. So, like, it kind of breeds that creativity. And obviously, if you spend time with other athletes working in a similar way, I feel like that culture kind of spreads a little bit. So, yeah, it's cool to see that coming into the game more and more.
Do you have to, like, when you're playing, do you have to kind of, you know, when there's, like, a wide shot or something and you want to reach for it, but maybe your chair's not in the right position, or, you know, do you have to turn off a little bit of the self-preservation part of your brain to not injure yourself? You know, like do you just go for the ball, or do you have to, like, what side of your brain do you listen to when you're kind of in match mode?
In match mode, and I think in any mode, once you've got used to it, if I fall out of my chair, I'm not gonna die. Like, it will be all right. And most people will just fling themselves. And, like, I've seen some not pretty versions of that. But at the end of the day, if it works and you get the ball on the table, who cares what it looks like?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's just the point no matter what. It's all part of the sport.
Yeah, and it's instinct, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's instinct when you're in a match and you see the ball, like, no matter what position you're in, you want to be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I will get my back to that ball. Position be down.
Yeah.
It was before we started talking, we were talking a little bit about emotion on the court.
Yeah.
And we were kind of saying how maybe you've changed your attitude to that over time, like, kind of not showing or being as, like, you know, loud maybe on the court, and then kind of bringing that more into, you know, your game. I'd really like to talk about this, because it's like, as I kind of mentioned to you before, I feel like for some women anyway, there's kind of a reluctance to show big emotion on court, or maybe even a little bit fearful of it. And although it's fine if you're not that kind of person, I think that there's also, like, you know, sometimes there's a good release in just having a chow or having a little shout or something.
Why not?
So yeah, exactly. So can you just, like when did this kind of start coming in? Like, what was?
So there's quite a lot of big characters in our team, and some people are definitely not shy of, like, letting out quite a big show. So whatever. And I was very quiet for a long time. I think I was quite shy, like, a little nervous in my game. So I was quite happy to just get my head down and play my points. And I remember, like, my coach was kind of saying to me, like, what would it be like if you chode? Like, should we try it? And I remember thinking, like, no, please. And he had me, like, literally, like, shouting, like, as loud as I could, like, the most random stuff, just to kind of, like, break me out of that nervous headspace. And I think within that, you can find something authentic to you. I think that's the most important part. And I was saying to you now, like, especially some of my teammates will laugh, like, I've kind of reverted to shouting, like, yes, good. I don't know, like, where that came from.
That's like
that's what it is. And, like, I'm not thinking about that. That's just what's
come out.
And when I watch it back, like, do I sound deranged? Sometimes, yeah. But if it gets me in the headspace and like, you know what I mean?
It just gives you a boost, doesn't it? I mean, like I always like shied away because I think I was always like, oh, it's just annoying. Like I never want to be that person.
Performative.
Exactly. But then when you're in it and it's a good match, sometimes it is just the kind of thing you need to get you over the line.
Yeah.
Like because it keeps you in the zone of the game rather than letting your mind wander. It's like, yes, that was a good point. You're reminding yourself where you are, what you're trying to do.
When it's authentic and someone's like genuinely just showing, I think it's probably quite a good like sign that they're maybe in like flow state.
Yeah.
And like my coach says to me, like he can tell in an international if I'm starting a bit slow. He's like, I know as soon as I hear the first like, yes, good, that you're locked in.
You're in.
And he's like, if it's a bit quiet or it's a bit awkward, like he'll be like, I know you're not quite there. But once I start hearing it, he's like, I can relax then. Like, I know you're all
That's
good.
it.
And I'm
She's
like,
in.
okay, yes, good. Like,
You talk a bit about like international competitions in general because it's it's a lot of traveling, it's a lot of being away from home.
Yeah.
And do you come across a lot of similar players? Like, what's the kind of scene like in terms of para? Because there's new like para ITTF futures tournaments as well. That's all changed.
Yeah.
What does it look like now?
It's definitely probably busier than it's ever been, and we'll be required to be at a lot more tournaments, which is great, especially for the development of the sport. In my qualification year for Paris, for example, I kind of was going here, there and everywhere every other week. So like one week, I think I went to like Texas for a competition, came home, I had 6 days, went to Brazil, like came home, went back to Brazil.
Yeah.
Had a few days, I think I went to Poland, then I went to like Kazakhstan. Or like literally, it's not always like that, but in a qualification period especially, like you'll go everywhere to get the points. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can be a little tricky, especially with time zones.
Yeah. The jet lag and just dealing
it was
with that.
honestly, and like related to women's stuff, like it actually started affecting my periods because of the time zone and like my circadian rhythm was so off.
Right. Okay.
I think in like 1 month I'd had like maybe 2-3 periods, and I'd said to my physio like, is this
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And they looked into it with women's health and they said like, actually that can happen sometimes. And as long as it's not impacting my performance, like, but yeah, these are all things that you don't really realise until like you're in the thick of it, going from like Kazakhstan to Texas. And
then it's like, where are you? What time is it? I don't even know. Okay, wow. So that's, so you have to kind of, and you almost have to put that aside to be able to perform on the table in the way that you want to on the day as well. So have you got any like tips and tricks that you use to try and, zone in at a tournament when you haven't really got that much time either side to settle into the rhythm of all of that?
Something that works like pretty well for me, I obviously said I like some routines within that. That brings me like a bit of comfort when I'm away and you're in different unfamiliar territory. But like, I like to stick to similar things I would do at home. So in an evening, I'll just like chill, maybe read, watch some Netflix. And like in the morning, I'll maybe like do some gym stuff, some like activations. And I kind of find if I keep the routine, it doesn't really matter like what the time zone is and how I'm feeling, because that noise kind of quietens and I know that I'm just getting ready for my matches. And that it's kind of just like, I don't know, it helps me like get locked in and like remove the distraction. If I'm feeling a bit tired, I'm like, no, I'm in this stage of like my preparation now and like we're good to go.
I think it helps with like mentally, like just mental health wise as well, having routines and things that you can bring with you into different environments.
Especially like going into an international competition, like we all care, like everyone gets nervous, and like if those are like little things that help you like mitigate that and transform it into something helpful, then by all means, like I feel like crack on with the routines. And also like a lot of coffee.
Like, so much. Yeah.
Like an insane amount of coffee. So
talk to me about Tokyo and qualifying for Tokyo, because it was a weird year. We're talking, it was the COVID year for the Olympics, Paralympics.
Yeah.
What was qualifying for that like? I imagine a little bit not the norm as to what we would normally have. It was also your first Paralympics as well. Can you talk a bit about that experience, the run up and then actually getting there?
Looking back on that now, that whole period is crazy. Like the build up to it in terms of 2019 was normal, obviously. Going to lots of competitions, whatever. And then it was around like March time, and our qualifying finishes end of March, early April. That's usually when it finishes and you start having a sense of, have I qualified, am I going? And And obviously, like, COVID started in March and we were at the Spanish Open. And I remember playing a match that I won 3-2, I think like 18-16, knowing if I didn't win that, I wouldn't be going. But I was supposed to be going to Jordan in 2 weeks to play another tournament, try and get some more ranking points. Obviously, the tournaments all got cancelled.
And was that quite instant, like that you found that out?
The tournaments, so we got home from Spain and I think maybe home on like the Sunday or something, and our coach said, look, like, guys, I don't actually think we can come back to training for a bit. Let's have 2 weeks off and see what the situation is. At that point, like, I don't think anyone thought we were going to have a pandemic, right?
No,
like,
it was like those
just
early
a bit
days
scary, wasn't it? Like, and everyone was like, whoa. And I remember thinking, like, what are they going to do for the tournaments? Like, are we going to, like, have I qualified? Like, was that enough?
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, yeah, because you're kind of in the lurch there, really, aren't you?
So, like
you
that
don't
was just...
know.
And then, obviously, it all got cancelled. And that was my last match, and that did just cement me through it, like a 3-2, 18-16.
Wow, so like such a fine margin, but you did it,
yeah,
you know,
we did it. So yeah, that was just crazy. And then within that, obviously then we had like training bubbles when we could return to training. They delayed the games by a year. Because initially I remember saying like to my mom, like I was like, I've just qualified, I'm scared they're going to cancel it.
Oh yeah.
I was so scared. I was like, please, I'm scared. Like, I want to go.
Yeah.
And then I think, obviously, a year on, obviously it was a really difficult time for everyone. In terms of performance, when we could work in bubbles, I think it was nice that maybe a few of us got an extra 12 months to improve. And then when we went into the games, like, yeah, I feel like it was just like everything you could imagine and more. And that was without a crowd. That was, yeah, it was really special.
It must have been quite a surreal experience, actually, for all of the build up to it. But then, you know, there isn't an audience. No. It's just you on the table, and you've got to do the thing that you came here to do.
Yeah,
and you came home with a bronze medal. So can you talk us through that, like that match, the match where you kind of secured the medal?
I know. I actually not thought about that for a while, so that's kind of a nice little reminder. But yeah, we were playing Jordan. And I actually, credit to Sue, I think I started terribly. We had our doubles first.
Right. And this is the team event.
This is the team event, yeah. And I was really nervous because I knew we were playing for a medal at this point. And I'd never been in that situation. It's my first games. And I remember thinking, like, I feel like we could do this. And it's maybe in the back of my head a little bit. And I couldn't string it together at all. And I remember, like, having a conversation with her. I was like, I need you to help me through it. We got going in the doubles. We didn't win it, and then I went on next in the singles. But I'd gathered myself, and I think I'd felt the worst of it by that point, which was really good. Going on, I was playing, I think she was the world number 2 or world number 1 of class 5 next match. So like tough. Everyone's probably thinking, realistically, I think people were thinking like, this is done now because we've lost the doubles and Megan's playing this girl and I've never beaten her before. And I was nervous in it, but I remember just telling myself like point by point, and just like really bringing myself like into the present and like distracting those kind of thoughts of what I could get out of it and the occasion.
That's the most dangerous thing, isn't it? As soon as you start thinking about what happens beyond that game. And it's so easy for your head to go there.
And no matter like what level you get to with your table tennis, like you can do a lot of work, but it is natural to have those thoughts. And like, it's not about getting rid of them. It's just about like managing them as best as you can and having something that works for you. And like something I'll say quite a lot in my matches is like point by point. And that really brings me back into it. And it helps me stay relaxed and like creative and free when I'm playing. But anyway, like I got into quite a good position in the match. And I remember like being like 2-1 up. And I had a little thought when I was like, oh, I'm 2-1 up. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I was like, no, point by point. Like, and then, it's really weird because I actually like, I would visualise my matches a lot. And when I was little, I would visualise how I would win a Paralympic medal. And what is so strange is like when you watch the segment back, that is exactly what I used to practice in my brain.
Oh.
So when I watched it, I was like, emotional.
I could completely understand, because it's like, I mean, that is like a, you know, proper a childhood dream kind of like, you know, manifesting in a way. So like years later.
Even like, obviously this is just chance, but like even the surroundings of what it would look like were like exactly how I'd imagined in my brain, like red top, red background. Like, I don't know, it was just so strange.
Are you psychic?
Maybe.
There's a little bit of mojo going on there. Do you predict any medals in my future? Because
we'll do a reading later.
Yeah, I'd love that. Get a tarot out. This conversation is over. I want to know what my future is. But yeah, that's such an amazing. That must have been such an amazing feeling. To have that and have that medal around your. Yeah. Where do you keep the medal?
Well, it's actually at home right now, and it's kind of like tucked away in a cupboard, which. It's not great, is it?
It needs to be hung on.
Yeah, and my girlfriend says, like, she's always like, we need to put it in like a little, like a nice like glass case and like put it on the wall. And I'm like, I think everyone's just so scared. Like, you want to look after it, and it ends up in the cupboard. Like,
no, put it on display. Put it in like a nice, safe like case or something. Yeah, but make sure that you can see it. Because then when people come round, you can just be like. My
bit of that
Paralympic medal.
Bit of that. Although I don't know if you saw on social media the other day, one of my teammates, Will. Have you met Will before?
I have met, a few times.
He went to an appearance the other day and he lost his gold medal. I think he's got it back now. I'm pretty sure he has. But like, someone texted me saying, "Have you seen Will's social media?" And I was like, "What's going on?" And my literal stomach, like, can you imagine?
And that is my worst nightmare.
Not only like got a Paralympic medal, like you've won the whole thing and you've lost it. And if you know Will, like that is the most Will thing. Like, he's left his keys before and like lost his car in town. Like,
oh, bless.
Of course, he's lost his gold.
Well, I
medal.
hope he's found it. I'm gonna be. This is gonna be my new like internet obsession. I'm gonna be like watching his like. I was like, has he got his medal back?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, I'd leave it on the train. That's something that I feel like I honestly.
What a fine novel.
Can you imagine? I just found this Olympic gold medal on the train. That's certainly something I would do. Looking back on your career so far, what do you want to be next?
Ooh, yeah, I feel like that's a good question, because that's kind of, especially with like the new year and obviously.
Do you do resolutions? Are you a resolutions person?
I feel like no, maybe I used to.
Right.
But I kind of have like a next step in mind, and I feel like everyone knows my next steps. Like, I really want to start taking like singles major medals. Yeah. I've been really close a couple of times. I lost 3-2 in Paris for a medal. My European's gone. I just lost 3-2. Like, it's time for a W. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's like,
I get you.
That's the next step.
That's the next step.
And I feel like it's well within my reach. But I feel like you just got to keep chipping away sometimes, right?
Absolutely. And then just to finish us off, what kind of advice would you give to, I mean, not just a female player, but any kind of anyone who's like maybe in the same position that you were in when you were 13, you know, starting different sports, trying to figure out what fits for them? What would you kind of say to that player who's, you know, maybe going through similar things that you did?
I would say, like, use people around you, ask questions, and in the beginning, like, obviously enjoy, and don't be afraid to be embarrassed when you can't do stuff. Like, it's so okay. I feel like the sooner that you get comfortable with being embarrassed about not being good at certain things is like the start of it actually becoming how you want it to be. And I think I struggled with that a little bit, especially like when in your head you can piece it together, but when you're learning, quite often you can't actually translate what's in your head. Like, keep going, don't be embarrassed, like, and like you'll find your way.
Thank you so much, Megan. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.
And we can do that tarot reading now. So. That's everything for this episode. A big thank you to Megan for being my guest this week, and thank you guys for listening. This is the last of the little batch of episodes that I recorded at the beginning of the year. There is still more to come, but we're going to have a little bit of a break, especially as the Worlds is popping off, and I'm, again, so excited for that event. If you enjoy the show and you want to help support us, you can do so by leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or just leaving us a little comment in the comment section on YouTube. It's always very much appreciated. and it helps other people to discover us as well. I'm currently in the middle of getting my calendar sorted out and seeing what tournaments I'm going to be playing in for the next few months, and if you see me at any of these competitions, please come over and say hi. I will talk about table tennis with anyone at any time, and it's also just really lovely to know that people have been, listening, enjoying the show, want to support what I'm doing. It honestly, it's a real confidence boost. So yeah, if you see me at any tournaments, come say hi, have a chat, and who knows, maybe you could be my next guest. Enjoy the sun, folks, and we will be back soon. Bye!